is he's not even a Robin on a winning team. He's more like a Bosh. Like he's a good three.
Yeah.
You know?
And he was supposed to be Robin in Dallas, but you're not telling me Dallas wouldn't like him now.
Spending money like it's nothing. I don't have a budget.
What up, YouTube? We're back talking NBA basketball, where we give love to some of the teams that may not get it during the big medias. We're talking about ESPN, Fox Sports. Who we talking about today, guys?
The Washington Wizards.
Everybody's favorite team. Oh, wait, never mind.
One of the worst mascots in the NBA.
If you really think about it, though, you would just by like name value, you kind of would want to, like, you would think the team would be better. Like, it'd be a good team to play with on 2K, you know?
Yeah.
Like the Wizards? Like the Wizards name?
No, the team. I'm thinking.
Oh, the team itself. Yeah.
Yeah. And 2K, you think that team would be good.
You could average like 40 with Beal a game in 2K, and Prozingis would be getting 2010s, 2020s.
Kuzma.
They'd be that team in 2K that would just piss you off because you play them and be like, "Oh, I got this," and then they'd light you up. Monte Morris lights you up,
and you can't rebound against them. It's like, what the hell?
You know what? I had this random thought earlier. The Prozingis news, he got hurt his ankle, and it made me think. I don't know why I thought this. I think because a Big Sean came on at the gym at the same time, but Prozingis is kind of the Big Sean of the NBA. He had like mid 2010s, you thought he was going to be the shit. Everyone was like Prozingis or Giannis or Embiid. Which one do you take? And then same for Big Sean. He would drop a single every few years. You think, oh, that's a good ass song. I don't fuck with you. It was like, oh, that's a big song. And then the album would always disappoint. And same for Prozingis. Like he has these big games, but then the season disappoints.
Yeah, he is injury prone, but I kind of expect that with his size and the way he moves. I like Porzingis, man. I really do. I like how he plays.
I mean, Big Sean's not a bad rapper. He's just he's in no one's top 5 though.
Oh man. I think it hurt him though too, being in New York and everybody calling him the unicorn and everything. There's so much like false expectation for him. And then you go to Washington, and they kind of were like gassing him up too, like, "Hey, you're gonna be really good with Bradley Beal." And it's like,
well, and Dallas when he was in Dallas, he was supposed to be the guy.
I'm already forgetting what other teams he played for.
But that's the thing is, he was really efficient in Dallas. I felt like he had good games where they did very little for him, and he just made it happen. You know what the problem is he's not even a Robin on a winning team. He's more like a Bosh. Like he's a good three.
Yeah,
you know.
And he was supposed to be Robin in Dallas, but you're not telling me Dallas wouldn't like him now. I feel like he'd be a good piece for Dallas this year.
He's the perfect fit for the Boston Celtics. He's the perfect player. Even Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That would scare me. Both of those would scare me. Because, you know, on Brooklyn, when he's like like you said, the third option, the Bosh, oof.
I mean, he can shoot. You just can't leave him. And he's a shot blocker. He's everything that Brooklyn needs.
So he has he has a player option this next year. So do you think that makes him someone that the Wizards are going to want to trade at the deadline? Now it's tough with the injury.
I think for sure it's a player option.
Yeah, he's a free agent with a player option, $36 million.
Because he for sure has to pick up that player option because any chance of him playing on a good team after that is at the expense of his money. So you're not going to get that big year again. So you have to take that money. I think they keep him one more year because they know at least the rest of this year, and they trade him next season.
What's your plan though as the Wizards? Also today they traded Rui to the Lakers. Yeah, Hachimura for a bunch of seconds.
I think that had a lot to do with the fact that they didn't trust the fact that they were going to pick up his option, but also I think Kuzma playing so well made that kind of happen.
Yeah. The funny thing is Rui just dropped 30 the other night against the Magic, and then I guess that helped his trade value.
But Rui's another guy. Is like he'll do good for 2-3 weeks, and then he'll have like a soft tissue injury and miss 2 weeks. You come back, exactly.
That was actually a pretty smart trade for the Lakers. The Lakers don't make a lot of upside trades; they make a lot of win now trades. Where Rui's a guy. If like it all goes wrong and LeBron and Davis aren't with the team in 2 years, at least you have an asset that's under 25. So I kind of like it, and he could help them now. So I think it's a pretty good trade for both sides. It is weird to jump ship on a first-round pick that soon and just get a bunch of second-rounders, essentially, but I don't really see.
But it's because Kuzma's playing good, I feel like. And then you still have to get minutes for, like, because you can't keep moving them from 3 to 4 when you have players like Kispert and Denny Advia not doing shit. Like, those are your small forwards.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers called asking for Kuzma back and the Wizards were asking for too much, and they're like, all right, we'll take Rui. Because I think if you're the Wizards, what are you doing with Kuzma? Like, Kuzma's having almost a career season. This is the time to trade him. You could get at least the first for him. You're not winning anything.
They did.
I'm 1,000%. Oh, go ahead.
No, they did come out and say though that he's untradeable. But
Kuzma?
Yeah, that's what they said today, is letting Stein and Shams and all them know like he's untradeable for this season. But
I have a feeling when the Lakers made that call, it was for Bradley Beal.
Mm.
And which brings me to my next point: is Bradley Beal overrated? And I feel like he is. Like because he never became like the Hardens where he could be a point guard also. Like, you don't trust Beal to be a point. So why do you get paid like them?
I think he's one of the best. I think he's a good player, but he's one of the best
Klay
good
Thompson.
stats, bad team
he's not
players.
Steph. He's Clay. He's Clay-like. Like, you're really good number 2. You're somewhere between Clay and Buddy Hield.
Well, if you threw Clay on this in this Wizards franchise, yeah, I think Clay obviously becomes probably more of a star. He doesn't get looked at the same because he's not winning titles, but he's averaging more points. But I mean, young Beal with prime John Wall was pretty fun for a little bit there. It had a ceiling, but ever since Wall left, it's been a franchise with no direction, and that's what I want to bring up with this season. What's their direction? They're a game and a half back of the play-in, and they are 9.5 back of the worst record in the East. So which way do you go? If you're keeping Kuzma, it kind of sounds like you're going for the play-in.
I really feel like you go for the play-in because no matter what, you're the first move, the domino that has to fall for you to get better is to trade Bradley Beal.
And what's his trade value?
Because your draft sucks. Kispert ain't did shit. Advia ain't did shit. Johnny Davis he did nothing. He's done nothing. So you have to start this by moving Beal, I feel like. I don't know what his value is. I think it just depends on the desperation of the team.
Yeah, he's going to be making, next year $46 million. By 2026, $57 million.
Because the teams that are really desperate can't afford him. Like, Miami could use him, but they can't afford him.
Yeah. There's going to be teams that have to gut their team just to get him. And at that point, what's the point of it?
I mean, even like teams that you could trade him to are going to offer you things that you already have. Like, they could probably get a good package from Toronto. But no matter what they send you, they're going to put you in – they're going to send you players you already have in those positions. So what do you do?
So what do you think is more likely than a Prozingis trade or a Beal trade?
Prozingis. I think Beal could possibly happen in the offseason, but I think Prozingis for sure in the he's like a deadline kind of trade. I think Prozingis for sure has an expiration date with Washington.
But if they're trying to go to the play-in, I wonder what trade would be on the table. Maybe the Pacers. Maybe they finally get rid of Turner and they swap bigs, and then you have Turner with that's a weird fit too. You would feel like it'd be a lateral move where the Wizards trade Prozingis to still stay somewhat relevant. I just don't know who that. I don't think they're going to dump him for. They're not going to get the Hachimura package again. They're not going to get a bunch of seconds or even a protected first. I think they're going to want to go and get a real playable asset. But I just don't know who's other than what you mentioned earlier. I do think Boston and Brooklyn would be good fits. I just don't know what they. I mean, the Celtics are deep. You could argue they could trade one of their depth guys for him, but I don't know who's exciting enough for Washington.
I don't either. Like, everybody that the Celtics have are there for a purpose. Like, a lot of them are specialists. That's a purpose-built team. So, like, you're not getting Jalen or Tatum. So, like, I mean, you could ask for the rookie that they have, not JD Davidson. who's the rookie for Boston? The kid, I think he played at Alabama with the weird hair. Whatever, he lit up G League. Like, he's a young player I might ask for.
I wouldn't be shocked if Boston stays put. I mean, they've won 9 straight, so like I don't. Oh yeah, I'd be kind of shocked if they disrupted that core for a move for a guy like Beal. And with the Nets, it's tough to think of who they could trade unless they gave up Claxton, who's actually playing really well this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would just still only have one big, so that really wouldn't make sense unless you gave up like some of those shooting guards that you have.
Now, what they could do, a valuable asset that Brooklyn does have, that barring the fact that Porzingis would be willing to sign an extension at the date of trade, Brooklyn has Houston's pick next year. They have the swap. They get our pick next year.
Yeah.
And if you tell me as Brooklyn, I can get Porzingis right now for a playoff run for that pick, I take it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're in win now mode. You have to recoup James Harden production somehow.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they would take that. Washington would take that trade.
Yeah, you would have to throw in some salary, but they probably have some washed guys on the bench they could throw in. That's an interesting scenario there because, the Wizards have a lot of guys that a contending team would love to have in a playoff series.
Exactly.
And it goes back to your 2K point. These are guys that could light you up. I remember back in the old 2Ks, like Monte Ellis would light me up. The Wizards have a bunch of those guys who can go for 30 in a given night, but they don't really mesh as a team. It doesn't really make sense what they're building. Yeah, and like you said, they've missed on all their draft picks. And they've been picking like 8 to 12, which isn't ideal, but there's some teams historically that have done pretty well in those spots, like the Thunder, the Pacers.
Mm-hmm. But even a team like the Clippers, for instance, I'd probably be on the phone with Washington and be like, what do you want for Gafford?
Yeah, I was looking at their contracts. He's the only one under contract long
because he's
term.
not,
Making
they can't ask for a lot for him.
Yeah.
But I don't know what they value him.
He's only 24. That's what's crazy.
I know.
It feels
he was getting more time and he was getting better. Thomas Bryant got hurt. That dude he started a lot of games. He did real good. So he'd be the perfect backup for the Clippers.
Yeah, but they traded Hachimura, so then it's like you got to keep some of your bigs, especially for trading Porzingis. That's why I don't know. I feel like they should blow it up, but I agree. I don't think you could find a Beal trade partner with a salary mid-season, and then you can't really blow it up with Beal on your team.
They're in a situation like Houston is like they're gonna wait. You can't wait too long before somebody else does what you have to do. Like, say for instance, Miami goes to the playoffs, they get blowed out, and they decide we're blowing it up. Miami's blowing it up somehow. Okay, well everybody's going to Miami first. So, like you don't want to be the last one to sell.
Yeah, and I think they've already gone past the tanking for Victor sweepstakes. I mean, you've won too many games already. You kind of played yourself out of it. So now you're in that seesaw area of play in, top 10, play in.
It's a good draft
10.
outside of Victor, too. So it's like losing the play-in, maybe win the play-in, then get swept.
Also, you could try to hustle people if you really think about it. Like, do you think there's value in players like Will Barton, Monte Morris, and Deleon Wright? Mm-hmm. Like, I might move when I would be on the phone with the Knicks and be like, you can have anyone you want. Send me McBride. Like, I don't know what he's going to be, but we'll find out,
Yeah. Yeah, a guy who could play real playoff minutes, for sure. I think that's worth... I'm sure they're active on the phones. I'd be shocked if the Hachimura trade's the last one they make. It just becomes a matter of who's next from the Wizards. I mean, I almost feel for Wizards fans. They're stuck in that purgatory, and we've talked about it on a lot of past shows where like almost Portland has been, where the Pacers used to be. But even the Pacers did a pretty good job moving off Paul George and then making some savvy trades, and now they have guys to build around. So that's what the Wizards, I think, next step is. If the goal is to win a title, I don't think you're winning a title with $57 million worth of Brad Beal. and then Kuzma and other guys. And Kuzma's played his ass off, but they're going to have to pay him, and then you're paying most of your salary to Beal and Kuzma. And what are you doing?
Brad Beal's best chance is to find his way, like the Wizards, is to find Brad Beal to a team that is super young. Like Charlotte, what will you give me for this dude? Like, how many picks will you give up after this season?
I mean, you could always send him to OKC with their 1,000 picks also.
That too.
OKC would be interesting because you could argue putting Beal there if they didn't have to give up any of their core. I think they're already going to be a sneaky team next year, but adding Beal to that team, that would be interesting. I remember on draft day when Beal was drafted, the Thunder offered, I don't know if they offered, but a rumor was Harden for Bradley Beal on draft day.
I did hear that, yeah.
That's a big what if Bradley Beal that's a much better trade for the Thunder than what they got.
That is true, but the Thunder never would have got to the finals that 1 year without Harden. Beal wouldn't have got him there.
Right.
I watched Harden shoot San Antonio at the gym.
No, right. You'd rather keep Harden and pay him if you're the Thunder, but between trading him for Kevin Martin and Bradley Beal, I think you take Beal.
Thank you, OKC.
Yeah,
you
nice trade there.
I just feel like the East is so like top heavy. Like it's going to take a lot to get to that level with what Washington has. Like they have to do something.
Ooh, guess who leads the Wizards in assists?
Probably Kuzma.
Monte Morris.
I was about to say Monte. He's the only person on that team I know who could play point guard.
5.5. That's it. And then Beal actually has 5.2. Like they could use could use a guy like Ricky Rubio. Maybe not this version of Rubio, but like 2 years ago Rubio. Just a point guard, a solid point guard to play with Beal because he hasn't really had a point guard since Wall left.
As a Houston Rockets fan, a team with no point guard, I have no sympathy for you in that regard. None whatsoever.
Disgusting.
Yeah, so that's what they're missing. They're missing the point. They do have some nice bigs, but then it really falls off, and it's like we talked about. Like Johnny Davis has only played in 10 games. He's not even doing great in the G League.
Nope.
And they're tough. I would say blow it up. I'm sure Wizards fans have their own opinions. I'm sure they're tired of the Bradley Beal speculation. Because even when he signs and says he's going to play his career out there, the trade rumors don't go away. It's the bigger version of Miles Turner. He's always going to be rumored to be traded until he's like 35, and then
and y'all
then
still
he's going to
paying
get
him
traded.
$50 million.
Yeah, paying him 50. They're going to re-up him another 5, and then trade him for 2 second rounders or something stupid. It's kind of sad. I don't think he's a top 10 or 15 player, but it is a little sad to see a star player stick with his team and they don't do right by him.
For sure. But also that's kind of on them for believing in him too much.
Mm.
Like no disrespect to him, but you seen something that wasn't there. It's like paying a running back. It's like paying Zeke Elliott. You know what I'm saying? Like
It does give you a cap. It's hard to win a title with a max running back, or it's hard to win a title with a max guy who can only do one thing, and that's really score. He's an okay defender, doesn't move, doesn't pass well. Honestly, when they had Westbrook a couple of years ago, that was almost
the mistake they made. Yeah, they let the Lakers fuck them in the head, and Westbrook had something going for y'all because he was exactly what that team needed. Y'all didn't have balls. Y'all didn't have a leader. Y'all didn't have anything, and y'all messed it up.
That team was scrappy. They had Bertans shooting threes. You had Beal going for 30 every night, and then Westbrook playing for stats, trying to get 10 assists. But like at least you had someone trying to get assists.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of a lose-lose.
What Washington needed from Westbrook is exactly what Westbrook's good at. Hey, go ball hog at a really fast pace, and we'll keep up.
Yeah. I mean, they got Kuzma, so like I don't know. It's
not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at this point though, you're at February. Trade deadline's a few weeks away. They're gonna have to come up fast of what they're figuring out to do because I don't
There,
know.
yeah.
I don't know.
I'd be on the phone with the Knicks and be like, okay, send me 2 first-round picks, completely unprotected. I want Cam Reddish. I want Quentin Grimes. I want Emmanuel Quickly.
All right, I know what Zach's gonna pick, but which of these teams they're gonna have to jump 2 of these teams to make the play-ins? Raptors, Bulls, Pacers, Hawks.
Raptors, Bulls, Pacers, Hawks. They definitely jumped the Bulls.
Oh, I think you're gonna say Raptors.
Right now I'm trying to decide if it's the Pacers or the Raptors. Pacers or Raptors.
Pacers have lost 7 straight.
I know. That's why I remember thinking. I was like, they're playing so bad. I can't rationalize this.
Raptors have a superstar. So
the Raptors.
The Raptors do have a self-proclaimed top 5 player.
When he put up like 50 points a few weeks ago, I was sick to my stomach.
I was watching the end of that. I think I even texted. Yeah, I texted Nick. I was like,
I think the Raptors will find a way in. I think the Pacers won't.
Yeah,
the Bulls and the Pacers fall out.
Because the worst spot in the league is the 11th seed.
Yeah,
you don't
because
get the
like
playing
even
game,
like as much as I hate fucking Pascal, like I can't discredit what Anunoby's doing. He's averaging 20 points. Scotty Barnes, what he could be. Now I think they may be overhyping him a little bit.
He's had a rough start, Scotty, and same for Van Fleet. They both struggled, but I think they both turn around somewhat. I like who they have more than the Wizards. It's going to come down to Wizards Bulls, I think, for that 10 spot. I think the Raptors slide up to 9, and then Wizards Bulls are going to fight to the death for the chance to play the Raptors.
I think the Wizards are better than the Bulls. Like the Bulls are not very good to me.
Who would you rather be as a franchise looking ahead 5 years, the Wizards or the Bulls?
Wizards.
Ooh, I would. Man, it's tough.
It's tough. They both have veterans who.
I would say the Bulls because everybody wants what I have. Like if I didn't value DeMar DeRozan too high, I can trade him today. So there's a handful of teams who would take him, and
Nicola,
and then it just comes down to a matter of like, okay, I overpaid for Levine, but there's a small amount of teams who might want him. But I know in a couple years there's going to be a shit ton of teams that want him. So I would rather be the Bulls.
They
have no young developmental talent, right. None.
Rui was probably the only guy under 25 for either team that you'd be interested in, and now he's gone. So
I think Denny Advia is the guy for me because what that dude did for the first couple months his rookie year and what he came into the league, the prospect he was, like to me, he has the most talent. And I'm not saying he's going to be a Luka, but he easily could be a Fournier to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of value in that. I just think Beal gets the most back in a trade, and that's not even saying he's better than DeRozan or Levine even. It's just saying how he's valued. I think he's valued higher than anyone on the Bulls. So hypothetically, I'd rather be the Wizards just because I feel like you could screw a team over with Bradley Beal.
Don't you think it would be harder to move Beal than Levine?
They're both paid about the same though. Levine's paid.
They are paid about the same, but I just feel like Zach Levine stylistically can match with more teams. Because, and I'm not saying that he's a better player than Beal, because I think Beal does everything better, but he's not as athletic as Levine. So if you needed Levine to run with like a really fast guard or a guard who likes to push it, he can do that. If you just need him to spot up shoot, he can do that. If you need him to ball hog like a Gerald Green and like a weird like fourth option kind of position, he can do that. So I think Levine fits more teams.
Here's a devil's advocate to my own point where Levine, if you're a dumbass team like Charlotte and you're making the trade for one of those two guys, who fills the seats more? And I think it is Levine. I think Levine and LaMelo would be a really exciting, fun duo to go watch where Beal and LaMelo
fit
just
more
kind of
like Indiana. Like he needs to go play slow ball with Halliburton. You know what I mean?
Rick Carlisle screaming at him.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. So we have Prozingis getting traded at deadline, more than likely.
Word.
Bradley Beal.
I don't know this year though. I think they let it go into next year to see if they can push it through the offseason.
Prozingis?
Yeah, I just failed to believe that he's going to turn that money down, and they know it. Like,
36 is tough to turn down. He's 27, has a lot of injuries.
Yeah,
I think he takes the bag.
Well, Wizard fans, let us know in the comments what you think your team's going to do. We said what we think they're going to do. Should they play in the play-in tournament? Should they blow it up and go get some young talent? That being said, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button. We're here for all your Wizard NBA news.
See you at the next trade.
What team y'all want to do next?
Maybe the Jazz coming next.
Yeah, we can do the Jazz.
Fuck it. All right, I'm ready. What up, YouTube? We're back talking some NBA basketball. We're talking about your Utah Jazz.